Hi there, Charmaine here, and let me show you a behind the scenes look at my paper making sessions. If you're looking for tutorials on how to make paper and my entire process from start to finish, I would like to redirect you to a playlist in the description. Otherwise, if you just want to see the behind the scenes videos and clips of my paper making sessions, continue watching the video. I will share with you my experiments, some fails, and just very random things about my paper making process in this little studio vlog. Before I give you a tour of my paper making process, do click subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. The pulp that I use is made of recycled paper, so these beautiful offcuts are actually cut off from the notebooks and stationaries that my friends make, and these particular ones are given to me by April San Pedro of Artisan Papery. She has a stationery shop and she creates notebooks, and she sends me these offcuts. I happily and lovingly accept these offcuts because their pulp is actually of premium quality. I found that when I recycled like old books, the ones that are already thin or yellowing, they are actually more fragile. They tend to create a more flimsy type of paper, especially when you're wanting to make thin or soft types of paper. So what I found is that you retain a whole lot of the characteristics of the paper before you turn it into pulp. Apart from the color, the inks, everything on your first paper or your original paper that you're recycling will most likely reflect onto your final paper, if that makes sense. So I'm sorting the papers out because they have a different thickness. Some are thicker, and the thicker ones I need to soak so that they will run in the blender. My paper shredder won't be able to shred them into smaller pieces. So as you can see right now, I have this manual paper shredder. My paper making is actually tiptoeing between business and hobby right now, so I haven't really taken that step to make it into a full-blown business. So my investments are really simple and minuscule, as you can see right here. I actually checked on those electronic shredders and they cost like what, 3,000, and I'm not in the headspace right now to invest in such an equipment. Other makers use like a certain type of recycled cotton rag pulp. At the moment, I don't have a sustainable source for that. I've considered ordering from overseas, but then again, it defeats the whole purpose of being sustainable because you're shipping it anyway. So there's nothing wrong with recycling the papers that I have right now, and actually it feels better this way because these offcuts that I use are actually were supposed to be headed to the bin or to the landfill, and it's sort of kind of nice to know that I can make pretty paper out of these offcuts as well. And I absolutely love that they're offcuts because when I run them in the shredder, they actually come out as smaller bits. As you can see, the smaller your paper is, the easier they will be ground up in the blender, and then the shorter the time that you use the blender, the more energy you save. So that's the whole math there. So we're almost halfway through the video, and let me just tell you right here that this will not be a very linear process like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Rather, I'm just going to show you some random clips from my whole process. I run a one-woman show, so dealing with wet stuff like the sponges and the pulp and jumping to filming and moving things around is kind of difficult, so I just said, hey, why not just film the stuff that I can film and then just show the whole process to you. with a little voiceover and sharing with you my thoughts. Just a little chat with you guys. So one of the things I do is experiment, and this is one of my experiments for this batch. I wanted to do tricolor. I mean, I've seen other people do it, but I'm just gonna try a different style or a different method. Maybe it'll work. I've seen other people use like a shallow bin of water to move things around, and then they secure the mold and deckle together. But yeah, this one was definitely a fail. So I tried to move it around on here, you see, and it was difficult. It didn't work. It didn't work. So in conclusion, this method, pouring method that I didn't work, but it was nice to know that I tried, and yeah, I can now tell you that, oh no, that doesn't work. That's the whole part of the learning process. So as you can tell from now, I was going for this peach, mustard, plum sort of kind of vibe. I see this color scheme a lot in aesthetic videos, but I cannot for the life of me find a word or something that describes the mood. But yes, so I was looking at mustard and peach and terracotta color palettes online, and here we are. Here is another thing that I was trying. I was trying to just sprinkle glitter on top of the pulp. So you'd say, hey, why don't you just throw the glitter in the water? You see, I've done that before, and the only thing that resulted to is that the glitter spread too far apart, and then when I lifted the pulp with the glitters mixed in with the water, the glitters just dispersed. So I was like, hey, maybe I could do this method, and I'll show you at the end of the video how it turned out. So I'm really obsessed with this small round embroidery hoop. I just like how the round shape turns out when it's dry. So basically, when I'm making paper, it is rarely a linear process unless I'm making an order or a request for invitation. So I know the exact color that I'm making, and I know the exact number of sheets that I need to make, and I have a specific size in mind. But for this paper making video that you're watching, it was actually playtime for me. It was a time for me to explore, experiment on shapes, on colors, on color combinations. And this is the kind of paper making that I actually enjoy, because it's always a surprise. And sometimes it's frustrating, like any other craft, when I've already tried making a specific color I had in mind, but I couldn't achieve it. So yes, there are days when I don't get the color palette that I want. I don't throw out the pulp, though. I actually dry the pulp and use it for another time. So that's the whole fun of paper making, experimenting days, because I get to try my glitters, I get to try the other embellishments that I bought. I actually have a glow-in-the-dark powder that I've been playing around with, but I have heavily failed on so far. But I'll keep you updated on that if ever I figure out how to apply it onto my handmade paper. I mean, it works, but it doesn't give me that same effect that I'm thinking of. Maybe for the next video. Wish me luck. So I dry the sheets, I leave them to dry for the next day. Sometimes they dry in half a day. They dry quickly, like just a couple of hours if in direct sunlight. But when I work up until the afternoon and there's no sunlight, like today it was a rainy day, it actually takes like overnight, and then the next day I wake up to dried paper. I've actually been trying to expand my knowledge on paper making. Like, I've been watching these videos, and they have like these dryers and these blotters. They say that it dries quicker. They have the hydraulic press. I am studying those, looking into those, but at this moment I don't have the space for it, and maybe in the future, right now paper making for me is like a little hobby that is a bit of a business side to it, and it's fun. I make it in small batches, but who knows, maybe in the future, maybe I can expand a bit and explore a bit of a bigger production. As I have mentioned in my paper making videos, I am continually learning, and I have been changing my methods over time. That's why I have an entire playlist if you want to see how I started and how I have changed over time. The playlist is there, and you can check out my older videos. I actually love the fact that YouTube has placed me in the paper making niche. My videos are there, and I enjoy continually learning and sharing my entire journey from start to I don't know where this paper making craft will lead me towards, but what I know now in the present as you're watching this video, I love the whole process. This small batch size is actually very calming, and it's just right what it's supposed to be at this moment in time. But who knows. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video through till the end. I hope you enjoyed watching this short little studio vlog. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye, take care.